Dear Mr. President, first of all I want to thank you for taking the time to watch this short video. This can have an incredible impact on the whole world. I'm coming to you on behalf of two very courageous men who can have a significant impact on the future of humanity and on the course that our world will be going in the future. The first man is Călin Georgescu. He is the presidential candidate for the nation of Romania in Europe. As you no doubt are aware, he won the primaries with a landslide, as the Romanian people are massively on his side, because he is opposing the criminal, nefarious system of the deep state that is now suffocating the people of Romania. Călin Georgescu is opposing the agenda to start an all-out war against Russia from the very soil of Romania, where NATO is building their largest air force base, right next to the border with Ukraine. Călin Georgescu wants to prevent this war, which would kill millions upon millions of people and would no doubt involve many other nations, not only in Europe, but around the world. Călin Georgescu is a whistleblower from the United Nations, where he has operated as a senior official for 18 years and first-hand observed the extremely nefarious nature of the United Nations, which is a criminal organization controlled by the oligarchs of the World Economic Forum for the agenda of world domination. He also observes how they are all involved in child abuse and child trafficking, which is why he's being opposed so severely by the existing corrupt regime in Romania. Although Călin Georgescu won the primaries of the presidential election this year with a landslide, he has been prevented from moving forward with his presidential victory. Influence from George Soros, the United States Department of State, NATO and the European Union has caused the annulling of that presidential election. It is clear that at this point Romania has become a complete puppet state of the international deep state. The people in Romania are calling for your help, Mr. President. Călin Georgescu is calling for your help to intervene and to demand that in Romania democracy will be restored, the rule of law will be upheld again, and justice will prevail. It is unheard of that the elections are being annulled for the simple reason that the winning presidential candidate is not part of their puppet theater. If Călin Georgescu takes office as President of Romania, it will have a domino effect on all of Europe. Not only will he prevent this incredibly devastating war which NATO wants to unleash against Russia and involve many nations around the world, but he also wants to end the child trafficking in Romania. He wants to end the incredible suppressing enslavement system of Romania, and he wants to set an example for the rest of Europe. That's why his candidacy is so profound. We are asking for your intervention, Mr. President, because you are one of the only ones in this world who can use your authority to make sure that in Romania democracy, justice and the rule of law are restored again, and that the voice of the people is not being trampled upon by these tyrannical criminal entities. The second man I would like to bring to your attention, Mr. President, is Dr. Rainer Fuellmich. Dr. Fuellmich is one of the most courageous men in our world. He has been criminally prosecuting large fraudulent corporations like Deutsche Bank, Shell, Volkswagen and many others. At the beginning of the 2020 COVID pandemic, Dr. Fuellmich was one of the very first voices in the entire world to stand up and expose that this was a criminal operation with the agenda of imposing unprecedented tyranny on humanity, dramatically reducing the world population and transferring all wealth from the world population into the hands of a handful of unelected elites.
This case, involving the most heinous crimes against humanity committed under the guise of a corona pandemic on a global scale, this agenda has been long planned, and it was cooked up by a group of super-rich, psychopathic and sociopathic people who hate and fear people at the same time, have no empathy, and are driven by the desire to gain full control over all of us, the people of the world.
Dr. Fulmich has interviewed more than 450 experts from every field of science. He has gathered more evidence than anybody else in the entire world that the COVID pandemic was an orchestrated criminal operation. It is for this reason that the German state has kidnapped Dr. Fulmich last year in Mexico. He has been imprisoned in a high security prison where he was placed in isolation. He has been tortured and several attempts on his life has been made. A document leaked from the German intelligence agency that literally states how they had to prevent Rainer Fulmich from obtaining a political position because this would threaten their existing criminal system. Inside that prison, Dr. Fulmich has not given up hope, and he is actually launching his candidacy now for German Chancellor from within a high security prison. Dr. Fulmich is asking for your intervention because he has not been allowed to properly present his defense against the false accusations that were brought against him. Access to his computer and documents has been obstructed. Dr. Fulmich is a man who could become your greatest ally, Mr. President, in awakening all of humanity to how criminal the pandemic really was. Again, he has so much evidence. He has all the relationships with hundreds of leading experts from every field of science around the world. Dr. Fulmich can play a critical role in the further deliverance of humanity. If he becomes the Chancellor of Germany, this would also have an incredible effect on the rest of Europe, just like Călin Georgescu in Romania. That's why I am advocating for these two men and asking you, Mr. President, to please use everything that is in your power to intervene in their situation. For too long has humanity been suffering under the indescribable evil rule of unspoken nefarious entities in our governments who have been destroying the lives of everyone standing up for justice. We need to put an end to this. We all know that America largely consists of Europeans. Europe and America are intertwined, as close